Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go. Here's your spooky spot on the Royal Bobbles Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Baby Killer Clown Bobblehead. Big fan of Killer Clowns from Outer Space? Represent one of the most memorable scenes in film history when you get this baby clown toilet bobblehead statue. If you consider yourself a horror movie buff, then this epic decoration is a must-have. My rule of thumb is always check for clowns before you sit down. And before we get a closer look at the Killer Clowns from Outer Space Baby Killer Clown Bobblehead, I'd like to send out a big thank you to the folks over at Royal Bobbles that did provide this sample we could have a look at. This is also stocked over at Spirit Halloween, either on their site or stocked in shelves in store. If you guys are interested to get this one for yourself, it's about $39.99 a piece. Then as well, grab the tape measure to see how tall it stands. And while it is actually sitting inside of a toilet, it still manages to stand about 6 inches in height, or it's going to be about 15.5 centimeters tall. And then to compare something silly with other scaled bobbleheads, here's what the baby clown looks like with the lollipop stab Sam that we've already had a look at. Here's also as well what it looks like with the shape Michael Myers standing behind the bush. So it's going to be size-wise almost about the same as Sam, but not nearly enough the height of the shape. Being a fan of the Killer Clowns, I was really excited to get the Baby Killer Clown in toilet as the bobblehead, and overall I think it's a nice looking bobble. The only thing I will say though about it is with the sizing of the head, I'm only going to rock it back and forth just a bit so you guys can see probably what I'm talking about here. I feel like while it's cool to have it sitting inside of a toilet, and of course it plays really heavily on that scene in the movie, the thing about it though is with the toilet being only the size that it is, the base of the toilet nearly not being wide enough, I feel like there really isn't enough stability. I mean, it's fine and good if you're going to be putting it on the shelf, for example, but the moment you start to move the head back and forth, you may not even notice it for yourself, but the toilet just rocks ever so slightly. I think it would have been nice if they could have maybe used, say, a similar square-shaped base as some of the other earlier looked at bobbleheads, just to give a little bit more stability. They could have given, like, the floor, for example, of inside the bathroom, just to prevent, again, that toilet from rocking back and forth. Because, again, like, there's so much weight really happening here for the top of the baby killer clown's head that you're then asking a lot of such a small space here for the toilet's base. If we flip this around and actually turn this, making sure it's facing the right way, there we go. You can see there's a QR code. Feel free to scan that if you'd like. You can also go as well to www.royalbobbles.com. Check out their full lineup, not only for the 2023 Halloween season, but also as well the bobbleheads that they're selling all year round. Also as well, like the coloring of this is really nicely done. Of course, you've got the really pearl white coloring of the toilet. The tank with has the water, has a little bit of a smear I've noticed here on the side of mine at least. Probably just a little bit of extra paint that found its way onto the side. You got the little flushing lever there as well. It looks to be almost a wood grain toilet seat. I don't know anyone that still has a wood grain toilet seat. Does anybody have? You don't have to really let me know down below in the comment section. Or also, are you one that has the old kind of carpeted cushion toilet seats? I had one of those when I was growing up. I'm glad those are all kind of been done away with. Now, inside the toilet is not normally a place where to have you guys all look. But you can see like it's kind of more of a dark interior, so you really don't know what's inside the toilet beside the killer clown itself. And of course, the killer clown is protruding out. Don't even really know how a head this big could fit out this size of a toilet rim, but you manage to still get a very terrifying looking baby clown. Fangs adore really on the top and the bottom of the mouth. The inside of the mouth, of course, is painted black. They have done smartly here to kind of just recess the sections of the black so far enough away, it actually kind of looks like there's a lot more depth to the mouth than there actually is. They obviously could have not had any way of just having the teeth sculpted and floating in space, because of course being that this is cast and made in resin, the likelihood would be very high that the teeth would likely break. The teeth have been, what teeth we actually have, all mangled on the top and bottom, have been painted really well here, kind of more of an off yellowish beige. Of course, you got the tops and the bottoms of the lips painted in very nice bright pink bubblegum color. A very large clown nose. Probably you would not want to be normally squeezing a clown nose when you got a clown this sinister. And you got these tiny little squinted eyes. Look at those eyes. They're like almost doll's eyes. Tops and bombs of the eyelids painted not quite the same pink as the gums, but kind of almost like a more lighter violet color. Some additional pastel blue has been nicely added there as well. And I really like as well the way they've sculpted and painted the hair. The paint is actually, when you look at all the rest of the clown's face, the shiniest aspect of it. The clown's nose, I suppose, is also equally shiny, and it seems like it's almost a very similar color that they would have used for the hair and the nose as well. Fairly accurate to the way it would have been in the movie. It is a really interesting looking bobblehead. Now, you probably saw at the beginning of this review how carefully these things always get stored away. They're first of all shipped inside styrofoam trays, and once you remove those, you have to take the plastic off. And then the last thing you have to do, which was one of the few times I've actually struggled to get that freed, there's a little bit of additional batting, a little thin foam strip that they actually wrap around the neck to prevent the head from moving around freely. But I noticed on mine at least, and you even noticed that being in the video, that it was kind of snagged inside the spring. I was really worried. At one point, I even debated the idea of actually just cutting it because I didn't want to have to pull it too far and accidentally crack the neck in the process because, again, it's all made of resin. But lucky it finally freed itself, and I was able to get the bobblehead to bobble. Now, again, like the bobblehead bobbles successfully. I've never really had any issues with the bobbleheads even being able to freely move. The thing about it, again, though, is the fact that you've got such a large head, a very skinny neck, and a very small-looking base for the base of the toilet. My only real concern when it comes to displaying this is the fact, again, like it's going to be rocking back and forth. Now, I'm probably exaggerating a little bit more than what I'm doing right now, but you kind of see just by moving it alone how maybe just adding just an extra little bit of footprint space around the side of the toilet would have probably just given a little bit more stability when it comes to the killer clown. Because I hate to think that if this was actually sitting on the shelf, for example, and something that had banged the head, for example, and maybe this had fallen. I mean, obviously these are being cast in resin, so the last thing you would want to have is break. The first thing I'm sure would be certainly broken on the clown is the neck that's actually connecting from the base or the top seat of the toilet to the top of the head. But it is, though, a really interesting looking clown. We haven't really gotten ourselves the baby killer clown in many collectibles. They always seem to really go right away to the two-legged clowns. I'm kind of interesting. I'm happy to see that Royal Bobbles did something a little bit differently by releasing a baby killer clown, the one that's sitting inside the toilet. Sure, yeah, I would like to get more of the baby clowns from that bathroom scene produced as bobbleheads from Royal Bobbles, but then I have to kind of think of the mechanics of that. If you wanted to have, for example, the two heads that are sticking out from the medicine cabinet, then they'd have to construct an entire back wall, and there's no way you'd have the proper stability to hold two necks that are sticking out from the medicine cabinet door and then have a bobbling feature incorporated. So that's a big no. Then there's also the laundry hamper. Now, the laundry hamper could work, but the problem with that, of course, is now instead of just one baby killer clown, you've now got to worry about two. And is both of them going to have the little spring bobbling feature? Yeah, I guess in the end of it, it's probably the best one that they could have gone with is the one that sticks its head out from the toilet. Now, in the movie, it sticks its head out a lot longer. The neck is a lot longer than what we actually get right here. For, again, just the designing end of things. Being that this is made of resin, it'd be impossible for them to give it the exact same length of what the clown would have appeared in the movie. So this sort of looks like the baby clown when it's first coming out of the toilet. Although the head is a lot bigger in this case. There's no way really to be able to fit out of the toilet, but obviously this is always the case with these bobbleheads, that the head has to be bigger than the rest of the body to incorporate that spring rocking feature. The thing, though, still about this is while it was nice to see them actually do this in a toilet, I would have liked still if they could have incorporated the rectangular or square base. We've already gotten it lots of times already with the Royal Bobbles bobbleheads, especially with a toilet like this and with the large head that the baby clown does have, just a little bit of an additional footprint space so the toilet wouldn't be rocking back and forth. Other than that, though, I really like the coloring that they've gone with for here, and obviously we really don't have, as mentioned in this review, a lot of examples of the baby killer clowns from that bathroom scene. So hey, I'm really open to the idea that we actually got one finally from the folks over at Royal Bobbles. I think overall it turned out really good. The paint's nicely done here, and it has still a rocking bobbing feature. Just again, be a little bit careful when doing this one over maybe some of the other ones we've already looked at. Big thank you once again to the folks over at Royal Bobbles that did come through and provide this sample of the killer clowns from outer space, baby killer clown in toilet that we see in the bathroom scene. What do you guys think of this bobblehead? Could you guys see yourselves picking this up for yourself? And what's your favorite scene in Killer Clowns from Outer Space? Let me know down below in the comment section. Does it happen to be the bathroom scene, or is it another scene? Let me know down below in the comment section. Also, as well, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit it with a like. If you guys are loving the content you guys are seeing and you'd like to certainly stick around for more, we are going to be looking at a bunch more spooky spots. There's still lots of stuff to go through. I mean, you may not be able to see it, but I can see it. There's a whole lot of things that I still want to look through during the month of Spocktober. So, of course, make sure that you're not missing missing out on any of that, keep your ghoulish peepers peeled to this channel at all times, because Monday to Friday, and even sometimes still on the weekends, there's usually 2 videos popping up a day. Of course, as always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.